All right, guys, let's get started. How's it going? My name is Danny, and today I'm going to be filling in for Sergey. So, as an active trader, I've had a lot of benefit from Tickeron's tools, and today I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share with you specifically how I use the screener. Now, here at Tickeron, we are an SEC-registered financial advisor. As an SEC-registered financial advisor, there's really only one way to tell if somebody is an SEC-registered financial advisor or if they're just telling you that to sell you something. The best way to find out is to check if they have an ADV Part 2 form. Now, what that is, it's a form that investment advisors fill out, which has a brochure, which pretty much discloses everything about their business practices. So there's an example right here. It's a very long form, but pretty much you can look up a business, right? And you can see if they filled out this form. Now, I'm sure many of you are aware how difficult it is to be a profitable trader today. And at Tickeron, our goal is to level the playing field. You see, when you're trading, you're not just trading against other people like yourselves. You're actually trading against hedge funds, professional traders, and algos. So a lot of these algos are there purely for the purpose of knocking you out of your positions. When you set a stop loss, they see it on their order flow, and they will purposely make sure to lower the price to knock you out of your position, because when you sell at the bottom, somebody else just bought from you at the bottom. And at Tickeron, we're going to help you fight against that. And the first step to fighting against the algos, the hedge funds, the professional traders, all the people that you are up against in the market, the first step is to know what you're trading and why. It sounds simple, but it's a lot more complicated because sometimes things get in the way. You'll see a stock that goes up a lot and you might jump in without knowing necessarily that that's the smartest move. So today I'm going to show you the Tickeron screener, because the Tickeron screener can help you find out what stock you're trading and why. So last year it was estimated that 75%, 3/4 of global trade is handled by algorithms. And the number is only expected to grow as startups and established businesses alike gradually utilize AI as a financial tool. Think of it like this. I'm sure a lot of you use Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. You've probably noticed there's a lot of bots, especially on Instagram. 40% of Instagram is bots at the moment. And what you realize is that that kind of translates everywhere. It's really not that surprising that the stock market has transitioned from what it used to be, which is people calling in orders on phones, to this automated, algorithm-based trading system where it's almost counterintuitive sometimes. And that's why the screener is so useful. And I personally use it when I trade. So let's just get to it. Let me show you what you're here for. So pretty much you're going to start on the homepage, right? This is, if you come to tickeron.com, this is where you're going to be. You're going to be on the homepage. And all you're going to do is you're going to click on the screener, right? So the easiest thing to do, just straight off the bat, would be to click on popular filters. This is going to show you the most popular filters. We sort this based on what our users are clicking. So number one is stocks with price growth and small drawdowns, right? So you would click on this, and it would show you a list of all the stocks with price growth and small drawdowns. Now, there's a lot of stocks here. Specifically, there's 24. You probably don't want to trade all 24. So what you can do, and what I like to do, is I like to use the scorecard, because there's this little feature, right? There's 3 of them, actually. This is the buy-sell feature, the FA score, which is fundamental analysis. I'm pretty sure I can minimize this. Okay, so the buy-sell feature, the FA score, which is fundamental analysis score, and the TA score, which is technical analysis score. And pretty much you could sort by this, which will have the strongest by fundamental analysis. You could sort by this, which has the strongest by technical analysis. But what I like to do is I like to sort by the buy-sell. And this is pretty much RAI's analyzing all the factors, and using the proprietary algorithm, it's able to choose these stocks as strong buys. Now, some of you, especially if you're trading in today's market, might be thinking, well, this market's looking a little bearish. Maybe I want to short stocks. Well, you can do pretty much the same thing the other way, right? You click it again. Instead of strong buys, it's going to show you the sells. Now, these aren't strong sells. Sometimes there's even strong sells. But in general, you could do the same thing in reverse, right? Where you'd know what to short. But this is the most simplified version. We have this for people that just want to get straight to it. But if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, if you really want to actually have a trading advantage, to actually use the opportunity that you've been given here, what you're going to do is you're going to click on Screener Home. So the top button, Screener Home right here. And this could seem a little overwhelming at first because we have so much information available, but pretty much you could sort here by industries, performance, indexes, themes, tickers, whatever. But what I personally like the most is group trends. This is what I personally use. And what it does is it lets you sort by groups, right? And you can sort by industry, you can sort by theme, you can sort by index. I like to use theme. And pretty much what I do is it's depending, right? So you can see right here, I'm on the strong sells. And this is because I was looking for shorts because I've been taking a lot of short positions. I've been doing a lot of puts, which as you saw today, for example, worked out pretty well. But I am more of an active trader. I trade intraday, right? So some of you might not be trading intraday. You're going to want to adjust to the strategy that fits your trading style. Some people are longer term. Some people want to invest. Some people want to scalp, right? Some people want to swing trade. It really depends what you are looking for and, finding what fits those needs. So I sort by group buy sell, right? And here we can see that the market's not strong right now. So we don't have any strong buy recommendations like we saw when we were using the popular filters. We have buy, hold, and a bunch of sells, right? But what you can do is you can sort by these, which are really useful, right? You can see which group's grown the most for a year, right? Like this group's grown, central nervous system's grown 710% this year. Or, well, not this year, but in the last year. And industrial has grown 469%, exactly, right? So we can go by month, and we see oil, coal, right? Solar. We can go by week, and now we're getting more what's going on right now. We see semiconductors, we see IC, right? Or you can do by day if you're really looking short term, and you see a little bit of a rotation going on in the market. But basically what we would do is we choose, let's say, semiconductors, right? We see that's been performing pretty strong overall through pretty much everything. There's no, bad times for semiconductors. So we're going to take it to the screener, right? We're going to click the screener button right here. And here's all these stocks, right? We can remove whichever stock we don't like here if there's stocks we don't like. And then we're going to go to the scorecard because, again, this is kind of like the all-in-one feature, right? So let's go over these features real quick. I feel like this is a useful thing. So this is the fundamental analysis. And this kind of does all the work that you would normally do to get your fundamental analysis for you. So this right here is the valuation rating. It shows you undervalued, overvalued, or fair valued. The lower it is, the better, right? This is the outlook rating. Again, fundamental based only. So this is only fundamentals right here. And you can sort by any of these, which is really convenient. Because let's say you want the best outlooks, say you want the best valuations, right? Et cetera, et cetera. We can do profit risk rating, which is like, which ones are the least risky, which ones are the most risky, profit to risk, that is. And all of this. Then we got technical analysis, which would give us the same thing, but for technical analysis. So we have, all the TA things that you would normally be doing on a chart yourself manually. Takes a lot of work, right? You got the RSI, got the RUN, MACD, momentum, Bollinger Bands, and moving average. So pretty self-explanatory. You can sort by all of them. You can sort by TA score. You can sort if you like the RSI, right? You can sort by all of them. Then we got the fundamentals, right? And this is going to tell you all the little information that you might be looking for: the price, the daily volume, market cap, P/B ratio, P/E ratio, cash per share, the beta, which I don't know if any of you guys trade on beta, but that's actually pretty useful, especially if you're doing options. Revenue, EPS, ROE, revenue per share, total debt, and PEG ratio. And you can hover over them if you don't know what any of these mean, right? And then you got the earnings and dividends section, which will show you how they performed on their earnings, right? And yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. There's actually even this interesting feature where you can see this percentage right here, right? And that's that tells you the reaction, which I think is really useful. Like you can see that Intel on their last earnings, they beat, but then they dropped 15%. And that's a pretty useful thing to know, because you can go back. You know how you normally have to look in the chart and be like, oh, what happened last time they had earnings? What happened last time they have earnings? Because earnings plays are very profitable, especially if you're a shorter term trader. And as you can see, for example, you can play run-ups on stocks that are going to do worse after earnings based on past performances. But all of this, out of all of these, I like Scorecard the best because it's the most comprehensive, I would say, right? It's got the AI predictions for the next week and the next month. It's got the TA score, the FA score, and then the buy and sell. You can also sort by price, daily volume, market cap, whatever. But I just go by buy, sell, right? And we can see the buy sells here. And there's only 4 strong buys, right? We got KLAC, NVMI, AMAT, UMC. So these might be stocks that I would look at, right? So maybe I look at their 1-week chart, see how they're doing. Seems like this one's on a pretty nice uptrend, right? After not having the best time previously. And so stuff like that can be really useful when you're trading, your market's open, you're on the go. And yeah, so that's how I use group trends. But there's a lot of things that you can do with these tickers. For example, let's take these 4 strong buys. Now, we could toss them in the scanner, for example, right? And what this will do is it'll make it more trading friendly. So you could see here the 1-day change by price, by market cap. You could see the gaps, low of day, high of day, the volatility ratio, the volume, and their next earnings date, which is very crucial, by the way, because earnings, huge move for stocks, generally speaking. And so even for more stable stocks, so you got to know when the earnings are coming up. I know people personally that, they got into trading because right now, I mean, this is one of the most interesting markets. People are going to be studying this in economics classes for years to come. We're very lucky. We're very blessed to be trading in these markets. And so one of the things that I know is that I know people that got in, right, and they would buy stocks and things, and they didn't know necessarily what they're doing. They were new, they're new retail traders, and they didn't know about how important earnings were, so they weren't paying attention to the earnings date. And then, you can guess what happens. So what I'm saying is this gives you kind of everything you need for these stocks, right? So we found the best stocks, and now we can use this to trade them. All right, and we're going to go back to the screener. All right, let's go back to group trends. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on IC. Let's choose a different one for fun so we get some more stocks going, right? And we have a few options here, right? So let's open this up in the screener because we like to see all the stocks, right, that we're working with. So we go here, we click on buy, sell, so you can see what's strong here. They only like UMC, right? Our algo only likes UMC as a strong buy. We have a lot of buys here. These are still buys, but they're not strong buys in the way that it has UMC. And what we can do, so we can take, let's say, the first 4, and we can add them to our watch list. Basically, what we can do is we click on the watch list, assuming that my computer issues weren't a factor. We click, let's just take these for simplicity's sake. So whatever we'd want, we'd select them right here, and we'd add them to whatever section of the blue bar that we like. So we could add them to the clipboard, we can add, which makes us copy them. We could add them to the watch list so we could keep watching them, right? We can add them to our portfolio if we think, hey, these are great stocks, I want to add them to my portfolio. We can look at them in the screener, which is what we're doing now. We look at them in the scanner, which is what we did earlier. We could set up signals for them. We go to the scorecard, or we could paper trade them. Now, the paper trade feature is a very useful feature because if you're like me, you're not going to just, throw your money in without doing any due diligence. When I first started trading using Tickeron, I was very careful, and I didn't just jump in right away based on the suggestions. So Tickeron has a lot of tools. And when I first started trading with Tickeron, one of the tools I used was the pattern search engine. And the pattern search engine would give you signals for when to buy based on patterns. What the pattern search engine does is it really optimizes TA for you, where you don't have to do all that stuff where you get so into TA, you get crazy and start drawing stuff. You can just use the pattern search engine. And the pattern search engine would give me these signals. So I wasn't sure if I was, if they were right. I didn't want to trade on these signals just because, I'm not going to trust somebody more than I trust myself. So what I did is I would paper trade them. I would go in, I'd grab the signal, I'd toss in the paper trade. And I noticed that my paper trade account was killing it. So I was like, all right, I'll try it out. So I started out with small quantities, right? I would do small trades, nothing crazy, nothing major, just little trades to test it out. First start with paper trades, then we start with small scale. So normally you're taking, say, $1,000 position. Now I'm taking $100 position, for example, just to test it out, right? We see that they're doing good. Now you move it up. So that's what I was doing. And that's the value of the paper trade feature here, where again, I'm having issues with my computer, but very much this blue bar, you select whatever you want, right? And then you use the clipboard, watch list, portfolio, screener, scanner, signals, scorecards, paper trade, community predictions. Community predictions, we haven't touched on that. So pretty much what the community predictions do is you click on them and they give you what the community thinks. So here at Tickeron, we've been building quite a trader community. It started out where we had a lot of experts coming in and not as many new traders, but this year especially, we've had a huge influx of new traders. So we get a lot of people, giving their opinions, giving their predictions, and we like to share that with the community. We like you guys to see what you're, what you're showing to each other. So that's what community predictions does. Then we've got the trend prediction engine, which is based on trends, the pattern search engine, which I talked about earlier, that's based on patterns. And then real time, this is for intraday. So I use this a lot now actually, because this is extraordinarily accurate. I'm pleased to say, and my portfolio is very pleased as well, that the real-time patterns are just so on point. And I think that's because a lot of these basic things of trading, these basic factors of trading really come into play when you're doing intraday, when you're day trading. And, things can happen, especially if you're holding a position longer term. Over time, you never know. We have a bad announcement, right? Let's say we don't get stimulus, for example. That could tank the market. Even if a stock's looking good, it's on a nice, trend. It's got a nice pattern going, whatever. You have a price target for it that's, 15 points, 20 points to go. And then boom, it's something happens, changes everything. So what you can do when you're a day trader is you don't care, really. I mean, it's very rare that something will really, like some piece of news, something unexpected will really mess you up when you're day trading. It's more like that would be you messing up versus, this big piece of news. But when you're holding longer term, that's when it becomes a factor. So, yeah. Okay. So let's see what we want to go over. So screener versus scanner. I think we went over that a little bit, right? The difference between the screener and the scanner is the screener is where you find the initial stocks, right? Like we can look at another one. Solar has been kind of popular this year for obvious reasons. I'm assuming a lot of you have heard the news. California wants to be all, EVs by 2035. And stuff like that is really kind of taken off. So with solar, with green energy, with, things like that, that's where you really see a big jump. NEP is actually a good example. That's a big one. A lot of people go for penny stocks with these, but you got NEP and then their main one, which is NEE, right? Stocks like Sunrun, which have insane, look at their 1 year change, right? Stuff like that. But anyways, so we get all these stocks, we have all these tickers, we can look through them, technical analysis, earnings and dividend, right? Look at Sunrun, right? Misses every single earnings, but boom, 258% gains. So, So we have the scorecard, and that's what I use. And then all of this, the best way to do all this is to use group trends. And, you have a lot of options here. You can do the 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year profit loss. So you don't get any losers. You can do it by group buy and sell. You can do price percentage of the groups. There's a lot of customizable features. And then you could also choose the options here where you have stocks, stocks excluding penny stocks, and then just penny stocks. Now, I know there's a lot of people that trade penny stocks. I used to trade penny stocks for fun. I thought it was really exciting, to get 200% in either, to get 200% out of nowhere. But, as you progress and as you become a better trader, penny stocks become less appealing, even if you are one of the lucky few like I was to make it out of them profitably, let alone, alive, which most people just get killed off by penny stocks. But if you do like penny stocks, we have penny stocks, and this is pretty useful for those because you got to catch them like, just like that. And we got that. So then we have stocks excluding penny, and then stocks, which is everything. So that's group trends. That's the main thing that I personally use. But again, you can use any of these. You can play around with it. One of the funnest things to do, is just to play around it. It also kind of helps you when a lot of newer traders tend to overtrade, and sometimes you got to sit on your hands. So maybe you minimize your TD Ameritrade or your Schwab or Robinhood or whatever you're using, and you look through this and you don't overtrade, and that will save you some money because trust me, overtrading can kill a day trader's profit and loss so quick. So let's switch it up a bit. Let's do industry, for example. So for industries, we don't even have any buys. Look at all these strong sells we have, right? A lot of shorts going on. No strong buys, just holds and shorts. So let's go in the screener, right? And then here we have this list of stocks that you'd want to short. A lot of these probably have pretty strong borrow fees because I'd see why you'd want to short them, right? So, the borrow fees on these are probably not too great. That's one thing that you guys got to be careful of if you're shorting, right? Take it from somebody who's made that mistake before. Sometimes stocks, especially stocks that are ridiculously overvalued, they'll have this hard to borrow symbol on the top, and they'll have these insane short fees that you have to pay if you want to borrow them. When Nikola was 80-ish, $90-ish, the borrow fee was, I think it was 90%, something crazy like that. So you got to keep in mind that takes out of your profit. So same with, if you look at Snowflake right now, crazy borrow fee, crazy volatility on the options, stuff like that. So keep that in mind if you're shorting stocks. Let's see what else we want to talk about here. Paper trading. So the thing about paper trading is like this. You always want to paper trade a strategy, paper trade an idea before you go in and buy it. Because if you're always going in and you're always buying with your money, every time you have a new idea, every time you're trying something out, you're going to lose money. You will. It's inevitable. Like, let's say we are the first place you tried pattern search engine. Yeah, you might hit a lot of trades, but that's not a good habit to be building, even if it turns out to be right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you win a trade, but you taught yourself a bad habit that will lose you more in the long run. And I know that sounds strange to some people. You'll be like, well, I made money. Who cares? But you do care if you're going to keep doing it. If it's a one-time thing, then yeah, who cares? But if you plan to do it day in, day out, if you want to keep doing this, if you want to really make good money doing this, then that's something you got to keep in mind. And the other thing is you got to keep in mind is, again, I talked about this earlier. Who are you trading against, right? We always have this idea that we're trading against each other, but we're not. Most of the trades that you are taking it against an algo. You're taking it against a computer. It's not a person. It's going to be a hedge fund or an investment bank running tons of algos that are all just pretty much trying to take advantage of the way your mind works. Because when you first start trading, there's these natural human instincts that really are kind of easy to manipulate for people that know what they are. And especially if you're like, they will pretty much find the most basic levels, right? And they know that you're going to set a stop loss like right below that level. So they'll purposely break the level, right? So there used to be this thing, for example, when a stock would break, say 100 or 200 or whatever, like a really big round number, it would shoot up, right? And now they'll purposely mess with those levels. So you can't do that. We just live in a different time. And so when you're not trading with artificial intelligence, when you don't have artificial intelligence, you're just so disadvantaged and you don't realize it. And that's just such a big factor. And that's why Tickeron is so useful. It's because it makes artificial intelligence accessible, because this isn't just something that's only the professional traders, only the hedge funds, only the millionaires can use. Anybody can use this. We've got features that cost $10. $10 is what you'll make off one trade. I mean, you should be making off one trade, significantly more than that. So, artificial intelligence is going to completely take over trading, and it kind of has already. So just keep that in mind, that whenever you're trading yourself, you're doing everything manually. There's a bunch of robots that don't have any emotions, that don't panic, that don't care what happens. They just have a code in them and they're going to follow that code. There's nothing that can knock them out of that. If the market tanks, those robots are not going to have some emotional reaction. They're going to sell where they're supposed to sell and then short where they're supposed to short. So that's why Tickeron's AI is so useful. And one of the most useful things is the AI robots. Now, this is something that we've released very recently, right? And I know this is a screener video. You can use the AI robots with the screener, but essentially, this is kind of the future. This is essentially, we have robots that are now trading incredibly profitably. Like, honestly, better than me, these robots. And I mean, look at these annualized returns: 270%, 145%, 207%, 157%, 105%, 238%. This one's not that great, 18%, right? But this is a newer one. It's only got 3K in closed trades. All right, 15% for these. Oh, these are Forex. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why it's like that. This is Forex. So basically, you watch these robots, you get a room, right? You get to see their trades. Let's say this is market hours. I mean, I know it's 6:28 p.m. right now, but let's say it's market hours, right? And you go in one of these rooms and you get to see the robots make trades in real time. So what you could do, and what I would recommend doing, is you don't start copying their trades right away, because I know a lot of people that when they first start trading, their main thought is, oh, I'm just going to find somebody to copy, right? I'm going to join a room and copy the trades or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, you can't do that, because then you don't know what you're doing. You're dependent on this. So if they don't post it, right, they don't tell you, hey, get out of the trade now, you're done. Like, you don't know. And then you end up going from green to red real quick. Or, they just give you a stock, you go in, you don't know that you time it, you don't know the levels, anything like that. Basically, you're going off somebody else and you don't have your own plan. And think of it like a battlefield. You wouldn't want to go to war and somebody just like go there, but you don't know why, you don't know where, you don't know what you're doing. And then there's people trying to kill you. You don't want to be in that situation. And the stock market's the same way. Everybody's trying to kill you. Everybody's trying to blow up your account. So you want whatever advantages you can get. And this is a big advantage, because when you go into one of these rooms, you see the trade in real time. So you see when the robot enters and you see when the robot exits. So if the robot gets in the trade, you see it the moment it does that. And the moment it exits, you see that too. And you get to see all the past trades, so you can judge everything it does. But the main thing you can do is you can grab those trades and paper trade them. And you can do that through the screener. I don't know if this feature has gone live yet, but essentially you could get it to where the robot will pay attention to these stocks. We don't have it yet live, apparently, because this is still a feature we're testing. But basically, we have stocks that we want the robot to trade, and we'll give them these stocks, and we'll have a robot trade the stocks. And it's pretty impressive. I'm very excited for this to go live. You guys will see it. It's very impressive. We're going to have some very cool integration and stuff coming with it soon. But yeah, so that is pretty much the Tickeron screener, right? Again, the main thing that I use, group trends. I go for stocks excluding penny, because I don't use penny stocks. I sort by group buy sell depending on what I'm looking for, and I prefer theme, but you can select all three if you wanted, But I prefer theme above all else. And then you could also do by industries, by performance, right? Sort by any time frame. Do smart, where you get kind of customizable features. You can do it by indexes, by themes, or by tickers. Group trend kind of encompasses it all, right? And then everything that you do, all these blue bar things, you'll see them up here. You'll see your portfolios, your watch lists, your paper trades, stuff like that. So basics to trading plan development. Okay, I can tell you guys about trading plan development. How about that? when you make a trade, you want to be right. You're pretty much making a decision. You're making a prediction. You're speculating. You're saying this is going to go up or this is going to go down. If you think it's going to go flat, there's no point trading on it. You could sell premium, but we're not going to get into that. There's no point if it's flat. You think something's going to go up, then you buy calls. And if you think something's going to go down, then you buy puts. Or, you just buy stocks or sell shorts. So puts and selling short is the same thing, except options versus stocks. And buying versus buying calls, same thing, options versus stocks. Don't sell options if you do not know what you're doing, because selling options will make your risk very high. It is not the same as selling a stock. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much one of the biggest things, the biggest ways that people lose money. If you're like, oh, how can I lose money quick? I just need to burn through my money. Maybe you want to, write them off on taxes. I don't know. Maybe you just want to lose some money for fun. If you're thinking, how can I lose some money? Hunt for trend reversals. Seriously, you cannot imagine how many people I've seen lose money. I've even lost money doing this, hunting for trend reversals. Basically, what will happen is the market will be trending down. You'll be like, oh, this is the bottom. I'm going to buy now. And then it keeps going down. You're like, oh, I'm just this has got to be the bottom now. And you just keep chasing this trend reversal until you blow up your account. And the truth is, you don't need to do that. Take the path of least resistance. Just go with the market. You're fighting against something that you cannot beat. You're not fighting against the opposition. You're fighting against the battlefield itself. Don't do that. So don't hunt for trend reversals. Follow the trend. If you see the reversal, wait for it. Like, look, let's say Facebook's plummeting, right? So it hits 250. You're like, okay, maybe this is a reversal point. Don't get in. Just watch. Breaks 250, goes to 245. Just watch. Maybe it jumps back up. Maybe it turns around from 245, breaks 250 again. Now it's 251. Keep watching. You want to see a solid reversal. Yeah, you're going to miss. You'll be like, oh my God, let's say it goes to 260. You're like, oh my God, 245 was the bottom. I couldn't hit it. That's a $15 difference. Yeah, if you had hit it perfectly, you would have got that $15 difference. But imagine how much you would have lost. Imagine if you had hit it, you thought 250 was the bottom, and then it hit 245, and then it dropped to 243, and you sold everything, and then it turns out 243 was the bottom, and you just got knocked out of all your position. You took a loss, right? And you can get back in again, and then it just happens again. You never know. But if you follow the trend, if you don't try to catch the reversal, if you just wait, if you're patient, right, you will make money. Because the truth is that the market is a tax on the impatient. I want you to think about that statement. The stock market is a tax on the impatient. So if you are not patient with your trading, if you always want to be in a trade, if you always want to be in position, if you're always like, oh, this, blah, 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 right? That's when you're going to be losing money. You're going to be taxed because that's not how you trade. You trade when you know that you are right. You have an idea. We have the AI. You come to Tickeron, you test your idea out. You make sure that you are not just blindly picking a stock. You want to buy Apple today? Go on Tickeron, put it in our pattern search engine, put it in the trend prediction engine, and see what it says. See what your odds of success are. Here at Tickeron, we have something called the odds of success. I think of it like this. If you use odds of success, you will be a profitable trader. It is by far one of the most important things that nobody really thinks about, which is what are your odds of winning versus losing when you take a trade? So when we give you a trade idea, we put the odds of success for that trade to be successful versus the odds that it will fail. So if you get an odds of success of 80%, that means 8 times out of 10, that trade will succeed and 2 times out of 10 it will fail. That's a good trade to take. If the odds of success are 20%, then 2 times out of 10 it's going to succeed, 8 times out of 10 is going to fail. Not a good trade to take. There are some exceptions if your risk reward is crazy. Like if there's a 2 out of 10 chance of success, right? But your reward is 100x your risk, which again would be an option scenario, right? Because when you're buying calls, out of the money calls with the not that long expiration date, right? Then you're not paying that much, but at the same time, it's most likely going to expire worthless, which is why the market makers are selling them to you. So that sort of scenario, then yeah, but generally speaking, you want high probability trades. You want high probability setups. You don't want to be hunting for trend reversals. You don't want to be buying the dip while it's falling on you and then keep buying the dip, averaging down. And now let's say it goes up. Let's say you finally hit the bottom and it goes up. you are still negative because you started buying so early versus me. I missed that whole thing. I was just sitting there watching, chilling. So when it turns around and it starts going back up, I'm in. And now you have a higher average price than me, even though you rode that thing all the way down trying to hit that bottom because you didn't follow your trading plan. You tried to do things that are not smart. Just work with the trend. Don't go against the market. Here's the thing. A lot of people end up holding bags. They end up holding stocks when they go against them. You start as a trader, you turn into an investor. But here at Tickeron, we don't let you do that. We tell you when to cut your stops. That's another thing we have besides price targets is stop losses. We tell you where to set it and where to cut it. Yes, sometimes an algo will come and knock you out of your stop loss. That is what they do. They are built to knock out your stop losses. They see you on the order flow. But it is not the end of the world. You can always get back in. Don't have any emotional attachment to the stock. Your previous trades do not affect your future trades in any way. You took a trade, that you close the trade out, that trade's done. Now you have a new trade to take, right? Unrelated. It's a fresh trade. Your previous profit and loss, it's already taken. It's realized. It's not real, it's not part of it anymore. See right here, tip number 2, what's a good way to lose money? Try to find a trend reversal. Don't do that. So yeah, here are odds of success, right? And we pretty much this is how we back test, right? So we look at it from all the different time periods and we see, okay, so it was successful this time ago. It failed, then, and then succeeded, right? So we see that 3 out of 4 times it succeeded. And we give an odds success of 75%. Now, granted, it's actually a lot more complex than that. Our algorithm is very sophisticated, but this is kind of the best way to explain it. Just we do a lot of back testing to really perfect this algorithm. There's a reason that we are able to have these AI robots and we let them handle our money. And there's a reason for that. And that is because we know what we're doing. And we like to present you guys with opportunities to just see, what they are doing and follow their trades or learn from their trades. You can learn a lot watching an algo trade because when you see our robots trade, you kind of start to realize what the whole market is like, what everybody else that you're trading against is trading like, because they're all robots too. You might be trading against one of our robots. When you get in a position, our robot might be in that position too, and they might be the one that you sell at the bottom to and buy at the top from, So, yeah, that's about it for this presentation. I think that hopefully you guys have a good understanding of the screener now. You have a good understanding of us here at Tickeron and what we do, what we offer. Again, we offer artificial intelligence that's easily accessible to regular everyday traders and just people in general who want to get into this industry. It's a very rough, cutthroat industry. Not many people are on your side. And we pride ourselves on the fact that we are on your side. We choose to do this because we choose to help you. We want you to succeed. Nobody wants the hedge funds or the investment banks to succeed. That's boring. Nobody cheers for the, 100 to 1. We want the underdogs to succeed, and that's you guys. You can make this, but you got to trade smart. You got to do the right things. You got to have a basic trading plan. You got to know what you're trading, and you got to know why. And that's why you use a screener. So it gives you all these little features, right? So you can see all this stuff right here. You can see the technical analysis. You can see the fundamental analysis. You're not going in, right? Even dividends, you're not going in there and you're like, oh, well, this has a dividend, I'm in. You can look at if the stock is any good, right? Just because it has a dividend, it's just going to lose that price of the dividends. You're not really gaining anything if the stock sucks, right? So you can look at all these things. You can look at the fundamentals. You can see the earnings, how the company is doing. Everything's in one place for you. And I hope that this will help you not make dumb trades, because I guarantee that there is not a single person out there, including myself, who has not made a dumb trade at some point in their life. It's a part of the journey. We live and we learn. And hopefully you learned something today. So are there any questions? If you guys have any questions, I'll open up the chat and put it right here. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, that's it. Thank you for watching, and, feel free to contact us anytime. We're always available. We do webcasts every week, and I hope you have a great trading day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so go make some money.